Hi everyone, this is Oscar November 7, Oscar Foxtrot, and pleased to see you on this tutorial about Thetis, the Thetis software. I'm going to give some hints and tips about the use of the Thetis software if you are using this software with your Anan or with your Hermes Lite radio. And I hope that you will find interesting tips and tricks by watching this video. Leave me some comments down below if you find it useful, and then I will try to upload more of these kind of videos in the future and help you in controlling your Hermes Lite in such a way that you are becoming a pro, an expert. I am also having a very steep learning curve. I am learning quite a lot, going through the manual a lot, and I also get a lot of recommendations and information from people that give me information on how to use the Thetis software in such a way that you can maximize the Thetis software for yourself. Let me just make my video much smaller so I can explain you a few things. First of all, of course, let me just explain you the layout of the different buttons and what they do in general. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but the most important ones I will certainly handle in this video. And if you find it useful, I will, the ones that I skip right now, I can make a separate video and explain you what they are actually doing and what they're used for, so it can be interesting. But first of all, this is the first tip I want to explain, or I want to tell you. I got a QSO yesterday that I made with Claude, Victor Alpha 2, Charlie Sierra Tango, and he told me I was off frequency a few, like 20 hertz or something, or what is it? Yeah, 20 hertz. So, and he told me, okay, you can synchronize your Hermes Lite. Let's just do this. So basically you can calibrate your Hermes Lite automatically. How does it work? In the world, especially in the States, there are a couple of beacon stations, I can call it. They are called Whiskey Victor stations. It has no meaning, it's just a call sign for them, and they are on different frequencies. So you got one on 2.5 megahertz, you got one on 5 megahertz, you got one on 10 megahertz, 15 megahertz, 20 megahertz, and 25 megahertz. So they are all over the place, and you can use these different Whiskey Victor stations to either synchronize your clock, so the time of your Hermes Lite, but you can also synchronize the frequency of your Hermes Lite, so you will be straight on the frequency, spot on with your Hermes Lite. So nothing to do, just to click a few buttons. Now, how do you do that? You go to Setup, and then you go to the General tab, and there you go to Calibration. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is, of course, in my case, I'm going to unmute. Okay, and you click on Whiskey Victor, and you can see it says 2.55, 10, 15, and 20 megahertz. So when you click here, it will go to one of these frequencies. So I just clicked once, and it's right now doing the magic. And once it arrived at one of these frequencies, it will be displayed, and you can see it right now. We are currently on 25 megahertz. Now I can see there is a signal, which is quite nice, 5 and 9. And this means that I can use this one to synchronize the frequency of my Hermes Lite and get straight to the maximum or the best possible tuning. So how do you proceed? First of all, you click here on W Victor until you see the biggest signal that you can get. There is also one signal over here. I click, and I am now at 5 megahertz. I click again, I am at 10 megahertz. I click again, I am at 15 megahertz. And they're all coming through beautifully. This is the 20 megahertz, and this is the 25 megahertz. Now, the one that I can clearly hear, actually this one is also coming in, you can see. If I am going to be silent, you will hear something like tick, 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 like a clock ticking. Okay, I'm not sure if you can hear it. It is not very noticeable, but basically if I click on start here, it will take a while and the frequency calibration is complete. This means that right now your Hermes Lite is spot on the frequency. It will have no deviation. It is up to the hertz, spot on the frequency. Apparently Claude told me that it's better to use the ones on the highest possible frequency you can hear it. So I took the 25 megahertz. So if I go to one of, let's say I go to 20 meter, okay, and I listen to the stations, I will have the stations right calibrated. So let me just open the, okay, go to one of the stations. So currently I am having my frequency calibrated. Okay, so start with that. If you have a Hermes Lite, it will help you to be spot on the frequency, and also the time will be calibrated exactly how it should be. I'm going to very quickly go over the things that might be very interesting for you. So I'm gonna skip everything that is right here. Okay, but let me just go straight right here. The master AF, this is actually going to have an effect if you have a companion board, because this controls the audio output on the companion board. So if you have a companion board, it might be interesting for you to know. What is a companion board? It's a board that will add a couple of ports to the Hermes Lite. You can do CW with it. The second thing is that you will have a speaker output for the Hermes Lite straight into from the radio and from the companion board, and you will have also the PTT, and there's a couple of other features, but these are the main ones. So you can plug in a speaker right away out of the Hermes Lite. Now, does this have an effect on the output of your audio from your computer? No, because you actually have the audio output coming through the jack that is on the companion board, but also on the computer itself. So you can use both at the same time, and this is what I'm actually using right now for my operation when I'm doing these live streams. Interesting. You've got this automatic gain control where my mouse is right now. You can see it's moving up and down. Actually, when you right click on this button here, you can disable or enable the automatic gain control feature, or the gain control leveler. What it means is right here you can see that green bar here. It is going to move up and down depending on the white noise. So the Thetis software is going to find the level of the white noise on the band, and it will level it off. If I go, for example, to let's say 10 meters, you will see that now it's 93 or 83. It's going to modify, or it's going to adjust it to the right level that it needs to be. Yeah, it was 85, 81, 84. But if I go to a very noisy band like the 40 meter, let me just change the band. Okay, and I go to 40 meter, you will see that the AGC gain now is 69. So it will automatically level it off. Okay, so you are bothered with, or you're not bothered with the very annoying white floor noise. And this works very well in conjunction with an R2, so the noise reduction number 2. So be aware that noise reduction number 2 is working very well together with the AGC green button here enabled. So right clicking, oh by the way, if you just left click and change it, it will also disable the automatic white noise detection mode of the AGC, so be aware of that. Another thing that might be interesting for people who own an amplifier and they can only push a certain amount of power into the amplifier, well, by accident you might just increase the power too far. And there is a very neat feature. If you right click in the middle or somewhere, you can put a limit. And what it does, for example, I've got the limit right here at 35. So if I right click and slide left or right, you can see I can adjust the maximum output power. So if I turn the slider further, you will not be able, or the Hermes Lite or the Anon radio is not going to transmit beyond the power level that is defined by right-clicking here. Okay. If you want to disable it, you right-click and you slide it all the way to the right, and then you're back at 100%. The AGC, you know what it is. It's to have a faster response time when you're listening to stations. This is an interesting one as well. This is the attenuator settings, and you see right now it is SATT. When I double click on SATT, it will go to ATT, and this is actually a big step. So here you can actually have steps in attenuation of 10 dB, while when you have SATT, okay, you have steps per dB. So it's more a fine tune of your attenuator settings right here. People are going to hit me on the head because I'm using the Thetis software that is not for Hermes Lite, but it's because I want to see the new functionalities of the newest Thetis software, and basically that's why I get some overloads here sometimes in the status bar. So I'm not bothered with that at the moment, but I'm just testing new features. And you have a new feature called Quick Split. Now if you don't have Quick Split and it just mentions split, right click here and it will bring you straight away into the setup menu where you have this quick split or the split options. And here the quick split is a new feature in this version here, 2.10.2.1, and you can offset a certain amount of frequency amount. And here we have an offset of 5 kilohertz, because most of the time when there is a split QSO going on, they are using 5 kilohertz as the offset for split. Now when I enable it, you will see that right on top here the frequency here will be adjusted to exactly 5 kilohertz on top, and the split is enabled. Now if the station you're talking to is saying something like split 5 to 15 up, you can still modify, roll over with the mouse, and then you with the mouse pad you use 2 fingers, but with the mouse I have this, just where is the camera, you got this roller here, you just roll it up and down, and then you can actually adjust the frequency manually beyond the 5 kilohertz. But if you click again, you will disable the split, but when you click it again, it will go back again to this 5 kilohertz offset. Okay. You can also move the frequency from here to here, move the frequency from here to here, etc., and put both frequencies on the same frequency. So no, that was not the case. Okay, no. So I don't know exactly. Okay, swap VFO. Okay, it's just swapping the VFO. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's about the split. Also, the VAC. If you want to go very quickly to the VAC settings, you right-click, and it will bring you straight away to this menu here of the setup where you can see the VAC settings as well. Now you might see here a green and red dot appearing. This is an indication of dropped frames, and if you have these dropped frames, you can click on this here. It will reset the overflows and the underflows counter, and it will help you to eventually check if you have issues with bandwidth to your Hermes Lite from your network. If you have a lot of underflows and overflows, be aware that Windows by default has throttling enabled on your network cards, whether it's Wi-Fi or normal network. And this is true especially for laptops. It is a built-in feature that puts your network cards in sleep state to save battery, and it might interfere dramatically with your connection to your Hermes Lite or your Anon radio. So if you have these issues that you have incrementing underflows and overflows, so you have dropped packets, check on internet and search in Google how to disable throttling on my network, and registry hack or something, and it will explain you how in the registry you can modify the registry settings so you don't have this sleep mode enabled on your laptop, and you won't have these drop frames. Okay, so it's kind of interesting to know. I was suffering from this issue before, and I'm mentioning it in this video so for people who might have the same issue and might think that their Hermes Lite is faulty, which is not the case. It's just a Windows issue. Very quickly also, you got NR2, NR1. Okay, again, if you right click here, it will bring you straight away to the settings of the NR. Okay, if you right click on ANF, it will also, no, ANF is not working. The notch filter, this is to disable or to filter out a carrier. So if you have somebody sending a carrier on the frequency, let me just do a demonstration here. Let me see if I have anything. I can hear something with the carrier. If you have an echo, it's because I'm listening to my output of my Hermes Lite myself, and you're also listening to the input from the Hermes Lite. Okay, so one moment. Let me just try to find. Get some overloads there, so. Okay, so as you can see, ANF is doing its job. It is completely filtering out this carrier. So if you have somebody tuning on your frequency, just use the ANF at will. Noise blanker, again, it will help you to get rid of pulses and stuff like that. You can right click and modify also your noise blanker settings right here. So you need to experiment for the particular QRM that you're having. Okay, and let me just maybe go to 10 meters, for example, where it's less noisy. Also, MNF stands for notch filter settings. Multi-notch filter settings might be interesting if you are on a very crowded band and there is a lot of noise, or you've got splatter from stations that are right next to you. Let me just give you a demonstration. I'm going to see if I can find the station somewhere. I get a lot of overflows here, so I need to work on that. But let me just unmute and explain you how the MNF works. So imagine you are operating on this frequency and you get this splatter from the station that is right next to you. You can filter it out completely. So how do you proceed? First of all, right click on MNF and click on VFO here. First of all, click on add, very important, click on add. Click on VFOA, which is actually this frequency, and you just point out how many hertz you want to filter out. So I took 300 hertz and I press on enter, and when now I enable MNF, you will see that there is some kind of a yellow bar that appears, as you can see, and you can slide this up and down, but you can also make it larger. So let me just, okay, I'm going to try to take it. As you can see, this is the one. You see that's another, this is not the correct one. If you see these black arrows, the black arrows, no, or is the other one? Okay, I'm confused now, sorry for that. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so you can increase and decrease it manually. And let's imagine that I'm listening to this, to my frequency, and I've got this noise. I can move it around and it will be completely filtered. Unfortunately, he stopped talking, the station, but basically you can filter that section and it will completely, okay, I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so it will filter, the notch filter will actually filter everything. You won't have the QRM from the agent station. If you want to remove this, you will have to click on delete here, and then you're back from the point you started. You can have multiple notch filters here, so you can notch the left, the right, the middle, whatever. So and this is why it's called MNF. Okay, let me just mute everything, and there you go. What is CTune? CTune is just, I don't like it when you can see what is happening when I'm changing the frequency. And you just go and unzoom, you will see that everything starts to move when CTune is not enabled. I prefer to have CTune enabled, so this will keep the pen adapter steadily, and you will have, I'm going to turn the beam towards the south, I think. You will have a possibility to scroll like this, so I prefer to operate that way, but it's at your taste, depends on what you like. Okay, I'm gonna turn the beam towards the south, or the southwest. What else is important? You have also multi-RX. This means you can listen to different receivers at the same time. Can be useful. So right now, if I enable multi-RX, I'm listening to this frequency and this frequency at the same time. Okay, so that is also possible with the multi-RX, and here you can shift which of the frequency audio should be higher than the other one, so that is also possible. This is the TX section. Everything that you control on the TX settings is right here. The microphone does not have any anything. It is just this is for the companion board, so it does not have any influence on your TX. It has only influence on the microphone that you connect to a companion board, for example. Or if you have an Anan and you have a microphone input on the Anan, this is also where you actually control the microphone dB gain of the Anan radio. Compression, it's straightforward. It's to enable and disable compression. If you right click, it will bring you to CFC right away. So you can modify your CFC, and what CFC stands for, compression frequency control, I think is the correct name. So it is a compressor, but it is going to compress specific channels that you define in your Hermes Lite or in your Thetis software, and it can be enabled for certain frequencies. So you might just not compress the heavy tones or the low tones and the high tones, and you prefer to compress the mid tones, so this is how it's done in my case. The post CFC equalizer is just an equalizer after the compression, the CFC compression, but I advise you to go to the other video where I explain how to optimize your audio quality and how to do the settings of your Thetis software, so please refer to the other video for more information. Again, if you right click on the Vox, it will bring you straight away to the Vox screen here, and here you can do all kinds of configurations for your Vox settings. Yeah, here this is the transmit profile. Again, if I right click on the transmit profile, I actually get to the same menu as when I go and click on the tune here, but it will bring you straight away to the TX profile. So lots of people, they first go to setup, general, and they, oh, where is transmit, oh, here is transmit. So it takes time. These are just simple shortcuts by right clicking. Okay, so be aware of that. So if I right click the transmission profile, I will go to that tabulator right away. So it's very easy. Okay, again here you can modify, okay, you can modify the frequency bandwidth of your transceiver. This will enable or disable the equalizer. This is the equalizer between the microphone and your radio input. And again here, this is the TX equalizer that can be also, no, this is the TX filter. It's just to put a line. I have no idea actually if it does have any other functionality. You have the RX equalizer right here. In my case, the RX equalizer is not enabled. Okay. And then here you can also modify everything that is mentioned right here. So if I right click any of these items here, it will bring you to configure, and here you can, you see this is the configuration that you have here right here. I have it set up the way it is right here, so I got this kind of setup right now for USB, and it is configured based on the mode, so be aware of that. Okay, yeah, we basically done everything that we had to do. I will give you one more bonus for the video. I'm 25 minutes into the video, so I don't want to make it longer than 30 minutes. If you are familiar or not familiar with the Pure Signal actually is a system that will disable splatter right next to your frequency where you are operating. Okay, you have two possible Pure Signal options in your Hermes Lite. The first one is the Pure Signal, that is the built-in Pure Signal. You don't need any extra hardware to make it work. And then you have the external Pure Signal where you need a sampler, and a sampler is a small device that will capture the signal at the end of your TX chain. So if you have an amplifier, you need to put that particular sampler at the end, at the output port of your amplifier, or the output coax cable of the amplifier, and then it will sample and send this information back to the Hermes Lite and do some modification in the signal and try to filter all the mess that you make right next to the band that you are actually transmitting. But the Thetis software does have PS Pure Signal built in, and this is an internal version, and they're working on it as we speak on the on the Thetis software. But basically, let me just explain you very quickly how you can enable it. I got 2 more minutes and a half to explain you. What you need to do is to right click on PSA right here. Okay, it will bring up this particular screen here, and you don't have to change any of these settings, but what is very important is set PK, okay, and put it at 0.233. Don't ask me if you do default, it's not going to be 0.233, it's another value, but it should be for the Hermes Lite 0.233. And then the next thing you need to do is click this one away, you enable DUP, and you enable PSA, and this will enable the internal Pure Signal system of Thetis software. Okay, so that's an interesting one as well. I will make another video shortly. The other video is going to talk about how do I get this screen here in the back with the real-time gray line zone. Okay, and also I will talk more about these things over here. Let me reposition my Thetis program, and what I am referring to is I will give you some explanation on these meters here, okay, and also about the skins, etc. in Thetis software. Okay, I hope you find the video helpful. Leave a comment in the comment section if you don't mind. Subscribe to the channel so you also have my whereabouts when I do the live streams. I'm very pleased to see that lots of people, they watch my videos. I'm not monetizing the videos because I think it's a hobby, and I think it's fair to say that maybe in the future, but right now I think it's something that I don't want to use as a commercial benefit and profit. I just like my hobby, and I'm happy that I am helpful for other people to get used to the Thetis software and to be a little bit of an ambassador for the Hermes Lite radio. I think the Hermes Lite is starting to get the amateur radio world by storm, and it's getting more and more popular, so I see more and more people buying the radio. And if you don't own a Hermes Lite radio, I think maybe you should hurry, because one of these days these processors will be out of stock, and then it's game over. 73s, thanks for tuning in today, and I hope it was useful, and talk to you soon again. ON7 OFF QRT Over and out.